Friday. Aloha Friday live, everybody. I am so happy to have Ty Reed with me. We're going to be talking about leadership and second chances of all things. Ty, thank you for being with me tonight. I'm so happy that you joined me. We're almost at the end of 21. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable to me. Yeah, it's crazy. But glad to say goodbye to 21.
There's a lot of people that probably saying the same thing. Um, we're just fortunate to have been able to last this long, right? A lot of people know, and I can say this now with a little more ease, although it's not all the way ease. My mom didn't get to see the end of this year, and so there's a lot of people that have that type of story. There's family members that didn't get to this point. And
Yeah.
so, hey, for all those that have suffered that, my heart, my prayers to you all, because I know coming into this holiday season, it's a little tougher this year, right? But there's a lot of people that did not suffer that, and they're looking forward to 22. They're making plans, they're making goals, they're doing some things that are strategically placed them where they want to be. So, Ty, first of all, let's before we get into all the conversation on leadership, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us what you're involved with.
Sure. My name's Ty Reed, and I live in the great city of Seattle up in the Pacific Northwest. And I do a couple of things that are related to workforce development. My day job is that I actually work in workforce development, meaning that I talk with businesses about their needs when it comes to attracting, retaining, and upskilling their employees. I do that through working with a nonprofit in Washington State that is pretty closely aligned with state government. And I also have my own personal nonprofit called Recovery Career Services that works with individuals who have been impacted by substance use in some way and provides them with career coaching and employment support. And there are typically two groups of folks that I work with that are both considered, in my mind, second chance individuals. The first are people like me. And when I say people like me, what I mean are people who are coming out of addiction, homelessness, or past criminal justice involvement, may have been out of the job market for a time and are figuring out exactly how to get back into having a regular job and what that looks like. And so I work with them on a variety of things. First of all, the basics, how to put together a resume, how to mock interview, but something more important, which is how to tell that story to an employer, because you always want to tell the truth about your background, but you should be strategic about the way that you tell it, just so you don't limit any possible employment opportunities that you may have immediately or in the future. So that's one group of folks. The other group of people that I work with that also need second chances are individuals who may still be working, but that work is being impacted by alcohol or drug use. So maybe they still have a job working for that big corporation, but their job performance has slipped. And maybe their boss has told them that if they don't straighten up, they're going to lose their job. Or maybe they have gone away to treatment and now they're trying to return to the workplace and have no idea how they're going to do that without drugs and alcohol. I provide coaching and counseling to those folks as well. And again, in my mind, those are two groups that both need second chances. One, because they're completely starting over, and the other because they're really, frankly, trying to keep the house from burning down.
Outstanding and an amazing work to be involved in that arena. Not everybody can, right? There's just people that don't know. They can't even begin to relate, but there are some people that can. And what a great initiative! What a great mission to get those folks that may have had some hiccup in those three areas or are currently dealing with some things that are holding them back from progressing. And you guys provide that service. So thank you for that, for the work you do in that area. I know that it's greatly needed. Now, folks, second chances doesn't really mean those those three areas, right? There's a lot of us that are children or benefactors of second chances, whether it was something that was caught or not, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I say the only separation between those in jail and those that are not, it's just they ain't got caught yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that do some crazy stuff And you wouldn't think, but hey, folks, second chances is something that we all have had in one way or another. It's something that I know I would not be here without. Uh,
Well,
so, uh,
yeah, and Enrique, I'll tell you, there certainly are people amongst us who have done some really crazy things and didn't get caught. But I actually think it's more pedestrian than that. One of the things when I talk to, because I do a bunch of public speaking to, large employers and smaller groups sometimes too, and there's a couple of questions that I always ask because there is this, and my perception, at least the feedback that I get, is that there is lots of people think that there's a big difference between people that have been incarcerated and people who haven't. And quite often the only difference is luck. So that's kind of that thing that you were alluding to, right? So some questions I always like to ask people are, by a show of hands, who in this audience has ever had a little too much to drink and gotten behind the wheel? And most people raise their hand because, if you've ever had a drink in your life, at some point you might have done that. And, so you're lucky you didn't get a felony DUI or have some sort of wreck or end up hurting somebody and ending up in jail. Okay, so now how many people in here have ever been in a physical altercation in their lives? Again, most people raise their hands. Well, you're kind of lucky you didn't catch an assault charge or hurt somebody really, really badly and end up with a criminal conviction that could really damage your ability to get employment and housing and education. And then finally, before it became legal, how many people in this room might have walked around with some weed in their pocket or maybe smoked a little weed before it was legal? Again, a lot of people raise their hands, and it really, especially when you think about the number of people that are incarcerated because of weed in this country, really the only difference in many cases between those who have criminal convictions and those who don't are just that those who don't were lucky. They didn't get caught. And so when you frame it that way, it helps to give people a little bit different perspective about the slim margins there can be between those of us who have criminal convictions and those of us who don't.
absolutely. And I'm one to always say, just be empathetic because and be real.
Yeah.
Be real and truthful and empathetic because there's a lot of things that a lot of people do that could have ended in that predicament, that circumstance, and they just did not have to face that type of music at that time. But as in all things, I like to say the light will prevail, and sooner or later, some things are gonna come out. Whether
Yeah.
in this whether in this age or the next, it doesn't matter. It's gonna happen.
Well,
Um,
the light will come out, and either you're going to be walking in it or it's going to be shining on you.
one of those two. One of those two. Oh boy! But and that's a good platform to talk about second chances. It's not just something that is available to folks that infringe on this and the other. Internally, we have to internalize an opportunity for us to give ourselves grace.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't give themselves grace enough to have their own second chance
Yeah.
versus having it given to them.
Yeah. Self forgiveness is really, really difficult. It is, especially when I can speak to this personally. It took me a long time to forgive myself for not only the things that I did to people in my life who loved me, and just to, in capsule to give folks just a little bit of my backstory. I was once a very highly paid, very highly educated member of the corporate world. And through my alcohol and my drug use, eventually ended up a homeless meth addict and alcoholic and petty criminal living on the streets of Seattle, and was in and out of jail a bunch of times, in and out of a mental institution, and was lucky enough to survive a couple of suicide attempts. And after I got sober, it was really easy for me to go out and make, I shouldn't say easy. It was part of the process for me to go out and make amends to people and say that I was sorry and to the best of my ability that I wasn't going to do those things again. And it was eventually I was able to forgive myself because I was forgiven for the things that I'd done to others. But it was really difficult, and it sometimes still can be tough to forgive myself for the things I did to me, quite frankly, because
Right.
I treated myself really, really badly for a long time and cost myself a lot of, I caused myself a lot of grief, number one, but cost myself a lot of opportunities and a lot of confidence and self-esteem and dignity, quite frankly. And it took me a long time to get to a place where I can look in the mirror and say, that was me then and this is me now. And that's water under the bridge. And I can't do anything about that. One of my favorite sayings is, give up all hope of changing your past because you got no control over it, and focus on what's happening right now and how you're going to act differently in the future. And that's the difficult piece for folks. But when I work with people, that self-forgiveness piece is something that we talk about, and I do my best to get them to focus on what they're going to do next as opposed to what they did before.
Yeah, I tell you, Ty, you're giving a glimpse of your story, and I'm sitting over here on this side, and I'm looking at this man, and I'm hearing this man, right, and I'm like, wow, right, how life can turn for us in now. I know it wasn't in a matter of minutes, right,
No,
but
no,
but
absolutely not.
figure, just a figurative speaking,
Yeah.
um, how life can truly change for us.
Mhm.
You mentioned I did this and I did that and and I'm like I can't even see it, and folks don't ever get to see once you're on the side of success. You don't get to see. It's not like that iceberg picture, right? You just don't ever get to
Yeah.
see all this
Yeah.
thing under the water that somebody had to go through to end up being this person that I'm talking to right now, which I tell you, brother, I am. I feel a lot of pride of for what you are showing right now, man. It's amazing how life could really turn for us, and I just want to take this moment to just thank Crystal and thank my friend Ricky. She's on the West Coast as well. She's in California, for being with us tonight. Thank you for always supporting. And there's, Ricky says we are more empathetic and forgiving towards others than ourselves. It's easier to give it in this regard of forgiveness than it is for ourselves. How did you get to the point and to that point of saying, you know what, maybe I need to apply some of this to me so that I could get better?
Well, it was the realization that lingering in the past wasn't doing me any good, frankly.
Yeah.
And I ultimately got to this place a little bit at a time. It definitely was not, I made a decision on Sunday and then on Monday I was all better.
Right.
So to me, self-forgiveness it's a little bit like going on a diet, right? So
Mm.
you can say on Sunday that, okay, I'm gonna start eating differently, and I'm gonna only eat vegetables. And I'm never gonna eat sweets. Whether that's advised or not, right?
I've
Um,
had a lot of those Sundays.
right? Yeah. Sunday after you've had way too much to eat over the weekend, we got to make a move. But the issue with change of any sort is that that's not a decision that you make once. It's a decision that you make over and over and over again. So if I decide on Sunday that I'm going to eat better and I'm going to get some exercise, that means that when Monday rolls around and I roll into the office, if I can go in the office, and one of somebody brings in a sheet cake because it's somebody's birthday, I got to make a decision at that point, right? So I said the night before that I'm going to be on a diet, and now I've got these sweets that I probably really like and probably aren't that good for me right in my face. So I've got to continually make that decision to do something different. And for me, self-forgiveness was the same thing. Every time I found myself in a negative space and using negative self-talk, which used to be really big for me, saying how bad of a person I was, or how I wasn't going to be able to achieve this, or how I didn't deserve that. Every time I caught myself in those situations, it literally was me saying to myself, okay, stop. Number one, is this realistic? Is what I'm feeling real? Is this a rational thought to have? Most of the time it wasn't. And even if it was a rational thought to have, the next question was, is that who I was, or is that who I am, or who I'm going to be? And if it is who I am, then I made a decision to work on that. But I kept making those decisions over and over again. And eventually it wasn't a decision I had to make. It was just something that was ingrained in me, and it came natural. But it was a process. I mean, I got sober in 2016 and started putting my life together in 2016. So I'm almost 6 years into this, but I didn't end up walking in darkness overnight. And so it makes sense that I'm not going to be completely healthy from that experience overnight as well. So buying into the process was really, really important for me.
Yeah, and so Crystal says excellent way to show perspective, and truly 6 years has been great, on in terms of coming out of the darkness, right? And so
Yeah.
thank you and congratulations, brother,
Thank you. And it's
for
gone.
make
It's gone like that.
hasn't it?
It's gone like that. It's just like being in high school. I remember being a freshman in high school. The first day I walked in, I'm like, man, I don't believe I got to be here until I graduate in 4 years. And when graduation rolled around, I'm like, man, I can't believe it went that fast. It's the same. It's the exact same
Right,
thing.
right. Yeah, I'm gonna throw some of these comments here because Crystal and Ricky are putting on. We can only move forward and look at our past experience in the rear view mirror as a reference of where we have been and how far we have come. It's so true. Yeah. Some people say, "Oh, I don't look back." Hey, I look back because sometimes looking forward looks hard.
Yeah. Well, but
It,
as they say, there's a reason why the windshield's bigger than the rearview mirror, right?
hey, look
You
at
should be paying more attention to that.
but yeah, and sometimes when you're looking forward and it seems hard, take a look back and say and look where you how far you've come, and
Yeah,
then that'll give you some extra oomph to say, okay, I can get through this right here.
absolutely.
um so you're working with folks, you're getting them ready for this next a milestone in their life, which is hopefully a new career, another place to work at, and make good things happen for them. What's the greatest struggle you see folks in terms of being able to make that move? Now we mentioned grace for yourself, but there's got to be something that's keeping maybe someone from taking that what you're giving them and putting it into action.
Well, the I guess there's an internal and external factors that I'll point out. So the internal factor that prevents somebody from doing that is just their belief that they deserve it.
Mm,
Especially if there's somebody that's in, if you've been in prison for 5 years or 10 years or whatever amount, or you were an active addict and alcoholic for a while, and now you've been you're out of incarceration for less than 6 months, or you've been sober for less than 6 months, you probably got some pretty significant self-esteem issues
hmm
and some self-confidence issues. And it makes sense that someone would. In a lot of ways, folks are overcoming trauma. And so it makes sense that you would still be impacted greatly by the things that you've been through. So that's really the biggest challenge that people kind of face is, me, in doing coaching, you are a blend of many things. You're a cheerleader, you are their friend, you are the friend that challenges them. You're the one to call them on their BS. And you're also the one to, pump them up and tell them that they can do this and to try to instill confidence in them. And that confidence piece is always the toughest one, because people don't always see a way forward from where they are based on what they believe their own abilities are or what they deserve. So that's the internal piece. The external piece is, although there are many more employers today that say that they're willing to provide employment opportunities for people who have been previously incarcerated, and employers also say that they're more sympathetic to the plight of current employees who may be dealing with addiction or alcoholism and it's impacting their lives and their work. When it comes down to it, what we're really still having to deal with are the hearts and minds of individuals that are have the power to make these decisions, right? So while a company may have a policy that says we're open to providing employment opportunities for folks that have past criminal justice involvement, ultimately, if that hiring manager or that HR person has a personal bias against, based on their own life experience, has a personal bias against providing an opportunity for that person's not going to get an opportunity. So a lot of what I do is trying to break down for folks, the difference between, the very slim difference between somebody who has a criminal record and somebody who doesn't, which we talked about a bit. And also that it really impacts society and benefits society greatly if we do provide employment opportunities. When it comes to employees, current employees that may have alcohol or drug issues, the previous thinking was that it was just, for a manager, it's just, less trouble to just get rid of them and replace them. And in the current employment marketplace, that isn't the case anymore. Employers are having a really, really tough time finding employees. So what actually makes sense is for that hiring manager or supervisor to put their personal bias aside and recognize that there's just as much value in showing some empathy and compassion towards this individual and trying to retain them to the best of your ability versus just allowing them to wither on the vine and try to find somebody else.
That's man, I'm listening to you on the external side. Now, internal side, I think everybody has gotten a little share of that in their life, and some may be doing that right now. They're not just, they're just not uh, encouraged about where they are and who they are to enough to go out and do these things. Uh, but the second piece there, as you're talking, I'm thinking in my head, what would that look like for me if when I went and applied for a job, having everything set right. Maybe internally I'm just like 100%,
Yeah.
and still that hurts, man. That
Happens all the
hurts.
time.
I know it does. I know
Yeah.
it does. And as military members, we feel a little bit of that, but it's not all the way that. You
Yeah.
know, um, there's a corralling around the military that has happened, here lately. Uh, but hey, I went 2 years without a job
Yeah.
because I couldn't get one,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what? Where's this veteran friendly?
Yes. Yeah.
So I kind of want to understand. I can't understand fully, but I want to understand because I went that long without, so I know what that feels like. But there was nobody saying I don't like military.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. Maybe those 2 years was because they were like, we don't really like military. They come here and they do this and they want to boss everybody around and embark orders. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just
Right.
saying
Right.
two
Yeah.
years, 2 years went by and I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about this situation. Um, have you seen anything change? Because I know it happens all the time, but have you seen anything change legally or policy wise that's supposed to help this out?
Yeah, well, actually, there's been a lot more attention placed on this issue in the last few years, and so organizations like SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, has done a really, really nice job of pointing out the necessity to provide second chance employment, and they've commissioned some studies that talk about the importance of second chance employment and, more importantly, the quality of employee that folks end up with. So that's kind of the first thing. So there's a lot more conversation about this. Excuse me, a lot more conversation about this in general that is raising the awareness of the importance of providing employment opportunities for folks that may have past criminal justice involvement. But there have been some things kind of legislatively that have happened as well. So in lots of states across the country, they have implemented what they call a ban the box law. And anybody who is over the age of, probably 30 or 35 can remember a time back when you would fill out a job application, like a paper application, and they would ask you right on the application, check this box if you've ever been convicted of a crime. And there's a lot of data that shows that, basically if you check that box, you have cut in half your chances of ever receiving a call back for an interview in the first place. And so in many places, they have actually banned that box. And they've also established some rules around when an employer can actually ask about somebody's criminal background if the employer does that. So in many places now, I think there's 26 or 27 states or something like that, where if you are, as an employer, you can't ask about somebody's criminal background until you have effectively decided whether you're going to make them an offer. So once you interview them and once you like them, if you do run criminal background checks, then that gives you an opportunity to then run that background check and get any other information you might want. So it's done a couple of positive things. Number one, it's given more individuals an opportunity to interview that wouldn't have gotten an opportunity to interview. And when you get an opportunity to interview, the other thing it does is if you do a great job, they just might like you so much that once that criminal background check comes back, that they just might go with their gut and hire you anyway. So it has given people more of an opportunity. But that piece that I mentioned earlier, where we're now fighting for the hearts and the minds of hiring managers and HR people, that's where that comes in. If the person hiring for that position has a cousin who was, who had been incarcerated or had been, addicted and was in recovery, and they stole it from the family. They've got this baggage they're carrying with them that
Right.
can't help but affect the way that they perceive individuals who are coming from that background. And so they need to be able to put aside their bias and just see the applicant and not see the baggage they're bringing with them, that the hiring manager themselves are bringing, as far as deciding whether to provide somebody an employment opportunity. So that's that is the challenge. So legislatively, there have been some things done that are providing people more opportunities to interview. That doesn't always translate into more employment opportunities. But when I talk to my clients, I tell them it's in the beginning, it might be a tough slog. So be prepared for that. It's not going to be impossible, but it's just going to be tougher than if you didn't have a criminal background.
Yeah, and that's sad because once a person, technically once a person is done, uh, you know, the time that they was given, that should be it. That should
Yeah,
be it. I
yeah,
mean,
you think.
uh,
But most there, so according to the FBI and the Department of Justice, there are somewhere between 70 and 78 million adults in this country that have a criminal conviction of some sort. That's more people than have a bachelor's degree. And a vast majority of those, somewhere in like 85 to 90% range of those people, have no current involvement with the criminal justice system. And what I mean by that is they're not on probation, they're not on parole, they're not doing community service, they're not paying restitution to the court. So that means that there's this huge, literally tens of millions of people who at some point in their lives caught a criminal conviction, and now they're just dragging around with them everywhere they go, and they're being limited. They're seeing limits on their employment opportunities and housing opportunities and sometimes educational opportunities as a result for this thing that they did in their past. And I would ask anyone who's looking at this to think about the most embarrassing or worst thing you ever did, and now imagine that every time you went to apply for an apartment, or every time you went to apply for a job, that somebody was going to ask you about it. That probably wouldn't feel so great, but that really is the position that we unfortunately put these folks in who have past criminal convictions. They have to talk about it for a long period of time when it probably has nothing to do with the way they're living their lives now.
yeah, that's a sad state of affair. And folks, if you're a hiring manager and you're listening, this is something you need to take on board. And just think, and I'll tell you this, Ty, if everybody just took a chance and said, and took a step back and said, man, if my stuff was out,
Right.
would I be in this job?
Yeah.
And if let's just be real, there's a lot of stuff that happens in our lives, and a lot of it could have caught us some time. And some people say, no, I ain't never. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
you could say that all you want, and if you live that type of life, good on you. But there's a lot of folk that haven't.
Yeah.
And
Most of us have some stuff that we wouldn't want to have on the front page.
hello, and so if you approached it from that standpoint, you would say, you know what, it's just sad all around, all the way around. So we're talking about leadership and second chances. More than likely, if you ever in a position of hiring somebody, you might find yourself in this situation. So hopefully you're listening, and you're removing that type of bias from your hiring practices, because it's just right. It's just right not to have that.
Well, and I want to make clear that if you're a company that has a current policy where you don't accept, you really don't take people that have any past criminal justice involvement, let's say in the past 5 years or 7 years or something like that. I'm not suggesting that you should open up your doors completely and say we're just going to take any and everybody that has ever had a crime on their record, yesterday or 10 years ago. I'm absolutely not saying that. What I'm saying is that there's a big distance between where your policy is now, and if you were to just open your policy just a little bit, the impact that you could make. So, for example, if you have a company where you say we're not going to take any felonies or misdemeanors in the last 5 years, if you were to just say, well, okay, maybe we'll take misdemeanors 2 years ago, then that would make a huge difference in the pool of applicants you're going to have access to, which is a huge benefit to your company. And it's going to be a benefit to potential applicants who may want an opportunity with your company. So there's really not a huge, we're not asking people to make this huge dramatic change. Kind of nibbling on the margins of what your hiring policies are can make a big difference for folks. And the other thing that it requires is just getting curious. If somebody shows up, if an applicant shows up and you run their background check and they have a criminal conviction, ask them what happened. Give them an opportunity to tell you about it. And then more importantly, get curious about what's happened in their lives since that conviction took place. Because if they tell you a story and make it evident that they're living their lives in a significantly different way than they were when that crime occurred, that's somebody that you may want to consider for an opportunity. As a matter of fact, I'd say they probably deserve it because they're trying to do the right things. And they probably have some stuff to prove to themselves and to others in their life, which means they could potentially be a really great employee for your company.
I totally agree. You was talking about getting curious, and folks, have a conversation. Good Lord, this this is a human. Have a conversation and get educated. Get educated on the person. Get educated on what they can bring to your company. Just do your diligence, obviously, but get into those conversations. There's some bright folks that may have fallen on the wrong side of the road at one day, and but they're still bright.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about this thing that I saw, and I loved it when I saw it. It was this man. He says, he was released from prison, try to get jobs, same situation we're talking about, could not get hired. It just people would not hire him. So you know what he did? He said, okay, well, I'm gonna go over here, and he bought a hot dog stand, and he started selling hot dogs. He became an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Thank you, corporate America, for for not
Right.
taking my money and not letting me keep it. So, so he started that, and lo and behold, he got himself another one, and before you know it, he's got himself a franchise of his own stuff, and all thank you for your bias, right? So this is what happened. Corporate America pushed away somebody with an entrepreneurial spirit
Yep.
that could have done that for them.
Yep.
And what ended up happening, they did it for themselves. So happy, I'm so happy for that man. I'm so happy that it turned out well. He don't got to answer to nobody, and he making
Right.
more money probably than he would have been in corporate America.
Well,
So
and that is a great story. And there are certainly folks who are in that pool of people that have criminal convictions that have the wherewithal and the drive and the determination to do that. Unfortunately, the other side of that is true as well. And the other side of that is that the number one reason why people reoffend and go back to jail is because of poverty. And so if I truly believe that if somebody is given the opportunity to make an honest buck, they'll make an honest buck. But unfortunately for a lot of folks, if they are not given an opportunity to make an honest buck, then they still have realities. They got to eat, they got to live, they got to pay rent, they have to have funds to live their lives. And unfortunately, excuse me, many people will fall back into some of their old ways to do that, which creates a couple of problems. Number one, now they're not actually a tax-paying citizen contributing to the community. Number two, they've now possibly created a new victim of criminal activity. And number three, now instead of being an asset to the community, they're a drain on the community. In Washington State, it costs about $40,000 a year to house an inmate. So somebody who maybe could have been given an employment opportunity, unfortunately, is now back in the system because they weren't given a fair opportunity to make a living and provide for themselves.
yeah, amazing. Yeah, you're right. True on both sides. I hope that we can somehow create some avenues for folks that they can, if they are, and you say, wherewithal, they have it in their head, they know what they want to do, and can make those great adjustments towards a positive life. Now, we're not only talking here of folks that have been incarcerated. Some people have fallen to, you mentioned, drug addictions,
Yep.
and poverty and homelessness. And I'm reminded of, the Voice story, right? This man is sitting in the in the median, and the guy's like, "Yo, tell us a little bit about that thing that you do, and here's the voice, and he's going, and and so he gets this opportunity because of social media to come off of that. Now he was good before.
Yep.
He ended up homeless. He ended up in drugs, and then he got cleaned up. I think the whole nation knows and has obviously seen this whole story. I don't know what has happened to him since then, but I know he had gotten relocated into a media,
Mhm.
radio type thing,
Yep.
and you know, but all of that so fast could be overwhelming.
Yes.
And so I don't know how he handled that, and haven't dug into it. And I don't know if you're aware of that story, but
I am aware of it. I don't know what has happened to him either, but I remember the gentleman that you're talking about. Yeah.
so there's hidden treasures out there, folks. And sometimes when they come knocking on our door for an employment, if we don't do some digging, like Ty says, be curious. If we don't do that piece, we might be missing out on some stuff. And if we can help them get to where like they helped him to get back into radio, and hopefully there's no relapse there, and
Yeah.
and he could keep that. But there's a lot of gems out there that are in the homeless community. uh, I think about homeless and all this great stars like Tyler Perry, right? He says, I was homeless in a car. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I,
It
s-
happened.
I saw his show. I mean, I saw a play live. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And he was like, yeah, a couple of years ago, I was homeless. I was like, wow, you know, um, and there's so many success stories, but there's way more many not so successful, right? Um,
Yeah.
how
And we, I think the thing that we need to be ready to do is everyone deserves grace. Absolutely. But, I also believe in helping those who help themselves. And I know from my time being homeless, there's some people that I was homeless with that they're still homeless today. And it's not because there's not resources available. It's not because that they're not capable. It's not because they're not super smart. It's not that. They have, for whatever reason, chosen that that's where they're going to be right now. And no amount of grace or offer of resources or even money in a lot of cases is going to really make any difference to somebody who hasn't yet made the decision that they want to do something differently. But for those who are in a position, they've made a decision that they want to live life a different way. Maybe they just don't know how to start. I think that it's society's responsibility and my personal responsibility, as especially as someone who can be who has lived that, to make that help available to as best I can, and to give them all the resources that they need and encourage them. And I think so often that society lumps in those who, a lot of people judge homeless people based on the homeless guy that they see on the corner who has a shopping cart. He looks horrible, looks like he's probably on drugs, and he seems to be a blight on the neighborhood. But there's also a lot of folks who are they're working jobs and they're homeless, but they get lumped in because people have this preconceived notion of what a homeless person looks like and is. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. There's lots of folks, if simply given an opportunity, would be able to get on their feet and start living a life that is more in accordance with what they want. But people need to put aside their preconceived notions of what that is, of what homelessness is and what addiction is, and be allow people to access the resources that they need and give them help when they need it.
I love that. Now, there's been a common theme here, and it's the biases and preconceived notions,
We all
right?
got
That
them. We
that
all
is
got them.
that is something that needs some help, and we need some help. So, folks, if you look at these categories of individuals in these circumstances, because that's what they are. Circumstances can change now, but they happen to be there now. That's where they are.
Mhm.
Hey, if we're not careful, we might be there. So
Yeah.
Don't judge too harshly. But we talk about grace. We talk about, um, giving second chances. Those second chances begin in us. They begin in our minds. They begin in our hearts. They begin in our spirit. If we have that inside of us, we can give it. If we don't, we can't. And there's just no way of making that any prettier. If you can give grace because you've been given grace, great. And even if you think you've never been given grace because you've never needed it, bless you first of all. Uh, and maybe I don't know. Maybe there is somebody out there. I only know of one, but okay. And so maybe you find yourself in that situation where you think that, maybe still see how professionally, right? Maybe you don't have it in you to give it, but see how professionally you can afford that to an individual that's trying to make things right. It's one thing to say, hey, this is a fact. You did this. I always tell my wife, and she does, I say, truth is not fact. Fact with grace, it's truth.
Mm.
Because it could be a fact, but if you don't have a bridge to help that person to come over and become better and do better, then you haven't done anything in the realm of truth. You just stated a fact. And so we need to work on the side of truth where we could say, this happened, but this also can happen. And so if we can do that, I think we do a whole lot better. Ty, you're doing marvelous work. You do it up in Washington State. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, maybe they're in the second chance type of arena, want to team up with you. Maybe there's some in another state, but how would they get a hold of you?
They can go to the website at recoveryandwork.org. That's recoveryandwork.org, and click on the contact link and get in contact with me. Send an email directly to me, or of course you can do a Google search for Recovery Career Services, and you can find us there as well. Or I invite people to find me on LinkedIn. I'm probably not the only Ty Reed on LinkedIn, but I may be the most active Ty Reed on LinkedIn. I'm pretty easy to find, so connect with me there. Send me an email or a note through the website. And of course, if you would like to donate, you can also donate on our website as well. But would love to connect with anybody who is interested in providing opportunities for folks who may need second chances. I am not at a place where I can take volunteers, but I am connected with lots and lots of great community organizations who I'm happy to connect you with if you would like to volunteer to help these folks that need the help so desperately.
Outstanding. Well, folks, we're talking about second chances. It's not only in the incarceration, circumstance or homeless, or we all need a second chance somewhere along the line. Sometimes just going from one position to the next is considered maybe a second chance because sometimes we don't get it right? And so just think about how you apply second chance, number one, to yourself, how you apply that to yourself, because it's easier to give it, but it's also harder to give it if you don't give it to yourself.
Yeah.
So try to do that for yourself, and please try to do that for somebody else coming up. Ty, thank you so much, brother, for sharing this platform with me. Second chances. Is there anything that you want to leave the guests with before we roll it out?
I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, and thank all of you out there who have a sympathetic and empathetic ear for those that you might encounter in the new year. Thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Outstanding. Well, Ty, thank you so much for being with me tonight, folks. I got a double header, and I got Gabe standing by. He's he's standing by. This is the first time I've had a double header, Ty. I don't know how to handle this, but I'm sure we're gonna get by here,
I feel
folks.
honored to be lead off, but I'm sure Gabe's going to do a great job cleaning up. I'm sure.
All right, all right. Well, be blessed, brother, and we'll
You
talk
too.
soon.
You got it. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. So, hey, as we're getting ready for this doubleheader, we just spoke about leadership and second chances with Ty Reed. Phenomenal, phenomenal man. Look, I was beaming just looking at him and listening to him. A handful of years, 6 years ago, uh, in a homeless situation, dealing with addiction, and you couldn't tell. I was just so happy to hear him talk, and it's amazing how we can actually recover from some circumstances. So, thank you for being with me during this first hour as we get ready for this next guest. We're gonna bring him in because he's waiting, he's chomping on the bits there. So we're gonna go ahead and bring Gabe in, brother. You know,
Well,
how long have we been?
oh gosh, where do we count the seconds? It's been a while. This has been a long time coming, but first of all, thank you for the opportunity, because this is these chances to have these conversations and just seeing what Ty was just talking about before we got out of here. Um, to me, those are the moments of gratitude that you got to be able to take in, because we all are getting the opportunity to not only network on this platform, but we're also being able to meet a lot of these individuals and building really great foundational relationships with folks. So um, anytime I get to do that and establish that with somebody, I'm always going to show a debt of gratitude because I am not here without the ability to do that, and this platform has really done it for me. So, not that I don't appreciate all the other platforms, I do. I've streamed to all of them. I've been on all of them. Um, I've made my way in through all of them to kind of just also as a student of learning, see what each of them have to offer. They both have
Yeah,
every single one of them has a strength, right? This is just particularly the strength for LinkedIn on the platform that I've chosen to kind of be my little niche area. But again, I love it when other people who come here from other platforms or just coming here for the first time discover what we're actually about to engage in, because
right.
this is what happens every time. This is the magic people don't they want to know, and these are the magical moments, man. That here you are, you're doing a double header. The first time you're going to do a double header, right? And it's fun. First of all, for anyone who's ever thought about getting behind a camera and doing these sort of conversations, because again, you're building a whole nother relationship with somebody who, although we've always chatted back and
Hmm.
forth and been around the same communities and showing up in the same places, we're actually now going to have a really great conversation, and start putting you start putting the things together of everything that you've learned about this individual. Now it's here in front of you, and you're actually getting to, apart from being close to each other in physical form, uh, this is like us sitting down and having a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you do, and just learning about each other and enjoying fellowship. So this is a big one for me. I love this.
Oh, great, man! I'm so happy to have you. And yeah, first time for a doubleheader. And folks, this is actually the first time for a doubleheader, but also my final. This is my final LinkedIn Live for 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gabe is closing us out. And and we always support each other and we look at each other's video. And I love what you do. I love how you now. And I need you to talk to us about this whole LinkedIn Live daily schedule. I love it because sometimes you know how a LinkedIn is. It doesn't connect you with everybody.
It does
It
not.
you don't see. I wish. I was looking at my follower count. What 15.9. I'm like, wow, that's a huge number. I only communicate with about 100 folks out of that 15.9.
Right.
And so there are some lives that I would love to see. Uh, and there's some that it's just like right when I'm doing my live, and I'm like, well, I can't. What can I
You
do about
can't.
that?
Yeah, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
can't. But there's other ones that I like to see during the day. At
Hmm.
11. I know Coach's Corner is happening. But you've curated
Yes.
all this, and
Yes.
so tell me how that came about.
Wow. Okay. So for me, I've always been a really big proponent of live streaming. Like again, I've been on all the other platforms, and being able to connect with people has always been a very passionate pursuit of mine. And for a little while, I had to take a break from social media, being on any kind of platform, being here or anywhere else, because you sometimes you just have to recharge. You have to do a lot of things. So while I was taking my time away, um, of course, me just wanting to stay active and be familiar with a lot of the individuals that were starting to put themselves out there. One of the people that I came in contact with, and he's going to get credit for it. I hope he gets tired of hearing this story, because I'm not going to get tired of telling it. But a gentleman by the name of Juma Bannister, and Juma is another live stream creator. Um, but he had a show on. He did a first. That was his first season too. So he just finished his first season a couple weeks back. Um, and I used to show up there. It was a Thursday night show. I would sit there and watch it, and I always was intrigued by content that he was sharing, things that he was creating. So one day I was sitting there watching, thinking about what I was going to do when I started coming back into the fold of social media and getting here back on the platform, and watching his show one day. He'd always done this, and I've seen him do it a few other times, but the light bulb went off in my mind when he was taking other content creators' videos and bringing them on his show, and he would only play a minute clip. Some of them might have been 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but he would play a minute clip, and he would tell like why he liked this video and why what this person was doing was really great. And that was an inspiration for me to go, I want to do something like that. That is cool that you can actually take your platform and use it as a tool to spotlight others. So that was the light bulb moment for me. And it's funny because that's the symbol that they use in his community. Everybody that goes up there, he uses his hashtag, and he uses the light bulb. And that's the emoji that they use. And it was a light bulb moment for me. So from that point on, I knew that this is something that I needed to do. And the thing was, it was something that I was already doing, Enrique. I was already going and watching all these live streams. I would show up in there just because, again, I'm a student of learning, and I learn by watching other individuals. Um, so even the most seasoned live streamer, or even a beginner getting out there, has some uh, very critical ideas that they put out there, in things that they share. So I learned from those. And watching that, I said, you know what? I'm going to put this guy together. I'm going to start highlighting these live streamers, um, because it would be easier for me. For me, part of it was, yes, it was me wanting to put things together to be easier for me to kind of locate everybody.
Mhm.
So I said, I thought of the old television guides that we used to get, where you could go back there, and it was back then it was a fold out uh, paper there, magazine. You could go in there and look at all the times and the guides and see what shows were on. They also gave little descriptions of what the show was going to be about. um, and you could go there and plan out what you were going to watch. So I thought about it, and I said, let me start doing that. So I did it for I think the first week that I did it, I only highlighted like 3 to 5 shows that first week. um, and just like recently, it's getting upwards to about 35 to 40 shows
It is.
a day. But it's like anything. I've taken the same process. For those who don't know, I was used to do an everyday show, which is
Mhm.
oof, it's crazy, but used to do an everyday show. So I essentially took the same motivations, the processes that I learned there, and the skills that I kind of acquired in doing all of that to make it such an easier process for me. And I applied them to what I do now with the schedule. And LinkedIn has made it a lot easier for me. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is not possible if LinkedIn doesn't create a way to make events a lot easier and that people can get notifications. Without that, I'm going to tell you the truth. Um, it might not be to where the point that it is now, but it's one of those things that's continuing to grow and it's getting momentum by the day. I started with 0 followers on the newsletter when I changed it over because what I was doing is essentially copy and pasting um, links to everybody's shows and bringing them all together, just putting the time down at that point. But I wanted to expand it more because people put a lot of time and effort into not only writing out their descriptions of the shows and their guests that they're going to have on, but also in the promotion that they create. So I wanted to find a way to put this together. And again, LinkedIn and the magic world and the way the universe works, they launched the newsletters to everybody else, and instantly I was watching another live streamer. Get this. This is why I say watch and listen and learn from what they do. I was watching another live streamer named Jillian Whitney. She had on um, a gentleman named Jeff Young, and they were talking about newsletters and how you could do things with them and why they were like uh, they were you could actually use a lot of the tools in there to create a really great way to communicate with people. So um, I heard that, and that was the moment I said, okay, I got to transition this. And then when I did, I went ahead and started out to lay how I wanted to format it. So I essentially started to take all the shows that I was already putting together, which guess what, guys, everybody can do this. There's the secret sauce if we want to know. If you got a calendar on your phone, which most of us do, you can integrate it in your phone. You can essentially go to any live stream event. If they create an event, first of all, and click the attend button, and it will ask you if you want to add it to your calendar. So essentially, you can integrate it into your Apple Calendar, your Google Calendar, your wherever you store all of your appointments and stuff. Um, so that's what I did, and I've been able to construct an easier way to collect all these shows, and now just kind of also relying a lot on the creators themselves to say, "Hey guys, if you want me to do this, this is a free resource. Nobody's paying for this. Um, I'm not monetizing off of this. I'm doing it as a resource because I want other people to see what amazing people are out there doing these shows. So that's again part of the genesis of why I drive to kind of do this now every single day. And we'll continue to do so. We went from 0 people when I started. Now we're up to like um, almost almost 1,400. It's 1,300 and like 70 or 1,381. I think I saw. So I've only been doing it for um, in the form of a newsletter. Probably I think this was like my 11th edition, so a week and a half. So it's going at a really great rate, and people are subscribing, and hopefully they find it every day as a good useful resource. It shows up right there on your door, either through your LinkedIn notifications or through your email, and you get it and you can go back there and look at it. And it's pretty simple now. I've tailored it for folks so that when you go to our live stream calendar, and I'm going to prove it to people that are watching and want to know how it would actually be useful without them having to go and search. Um, the calendar now is simply touching. Here we go. Okay, you simply have to touch the photo now. So as you can see on my camera here, right? This is how it shows up to your doorstep with the copy, all the photos. So I've made it so much easier. Watch this. Let me scroll down here. Let's go down here and see if we can find our show.
There you go.
Watch this. Watch this, folks.
Voila.
Instantly.
That easy. That is wonderful, brother. I tell you, man, when I saw you compiling the lives, I got excited because, like I mentioned, and now LinkedIn has modified somewhat with the notification. You can,
Yes.
if you didn't know about that, you can actually click the bell on LinkedIn
now, and it sends you.
And it sends you, the people that you want to see. And I was excited because the show in itself, Aloha Friday Live, has been a connection based type of show. So either we were connected and you knew about it because I posted about it,
Yeah.
but I had already said, 15,900 people. I only talked to 100. Out of those 100, only about 4 or 5 get an opportunity to come by the show, right? So
Right.
it's a good way of getting the live community because
Hmm.
hey, if you didn't know, for those listening, if you didn't know there was a live community, hey, don't have 2 or 3 people do something. They already created a community. So there's a community
Hmm.
about around live streamers that support each other, and I love that's one thing that I appreciate about the work you put into curating this type of list for folks. We get to see each other's thing now, right? And hey, in the morning I get it. I said, boom, oh, there goes Gabe's list, and I'm going through and I get to choose now based on my schedule. Say, oh, I can catch them. Oh, I can catch them. Before I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
If it didn't come up on my feed as a live event,
I don't know. It was just lost in the middle of nowhere. If you weren't part of that, if you weren't part of that community or those individuals, here's the wonderful thing, right? What's starting to happen now is because I found like every single avenue that I can to kind of bring out the live streaming community. So I started a hashtag too. So you can go to the hashtag LinkedIn live streams, which now this is so great. It's up to 181 followers. When I started it a few weeks ago, it was 0. You use that hashtag in any of your live stream creations, it populates it into that hashtag there. You can actually go there, find this stream. You can find all the streams that use it that show up there all together. So now it's become a legitimate hashtag. People are actually now using it in their copy when they're going live. So I'm actually catching new people posting like this is my first live, or they're putting content up there. I got LinkedIn Live. I'm going to put a new show together. What should I do? Do I use StreamYard? Do I use Restream? How do I go about approaching this? And just seeing the all the wonderful people that are now having the opportunity to go out there and create. Now they're actually have a place that they can go. And here's the great thing. Now you have a place where all the replays will stay as well. So if you don't have the newsletter, if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, because the newsletter is going to take you straight to the replay. Now that's the great part about it. It's either live that you go back and watch it, or you can see it as the replay. It's right there in your hands. You saw how easy it is. But if you're not subscribed to it yet, and you're just using the hashtag to go there and check things out, you see all these live streams and all this content related to live streaming now in the same place, and you can just go there. You see, I find business streams now that are using this. I find um, different creators from different parts of the world now using the hashtag. So you'll see it. You'll see a hashtag used in. Um, you'll see a hashtag used in the excuse me, in their copy there, and it might be somewhere um, from Japan that they're creating a stream, or they're from the Netherlands and they're talking about live streaming. Um, but they share it and it's there, and people can now just go there and check it out, and that's part of it. So that's what I love about being able to do this and build out this community. And then any live streamer that's interested in, again, wanting to join in here on the LinkedIn uh, creator and family here, hey bud, um, I have started a group, and you can get an invite to the group, and you can go there and you can see we try to keep it active with stuff pertaining to live streaming, or if there's things that I think live stream creators should know. I share it in the group there, and anybody's welcome to go and drop any kind of comments in there. They can go in there and drop their own post in there, as long as they're part of the community. And it's just another way to build um, and kind of spur collaboration between other creators as well. So this is one of the great things of seeing now other creators show up on other people's feeds and other people's shows, and actually seeing some of these people meeting in here, meeting up, and now doing shows together out there. And to me, that's the magic in it. Is how they put themselves out there and they find ways to expand this ever growing community. So this is what I love. This is the best part about it.
Yeah, and I tell you the community is growing little by little, but in leaps because uh, not too long ago, I think I'm at I was able to do a full 52 lives uh, because I for some reason or another I made up, but this one made up for one that I had
Miss,
missed.
yeah,
But we're continuing to develop, continuing to get different resources, but the huddle up together is where I see the most bang for our efforts because there's because of that newsletter I was able to be introduced to people I had no idea
exactly.
were out there doing things.
Hmm.
And I'm sure that some people when they saw mine on there, they was like, "What, Aloha?
Yeah,
Hey, this is the cheapest way to get to Hawaii. That's
Hawaii.
all I'm.
Exactly right.
This is about as cheap. You don't have to. I got Diamond Head in the back.
There you go.
I got the music playing in the background. Hey, all you need is to splash your foot in the tub, and
And you're there, man.
you're there.
There you go.
So we got Ricky,
Yes,
Ricky out of California. Hey, Gabe.
there you go.
See,
That's it, man.
yeah, blow it up, blow it up. So
That's the
yeah,
way.
and we have folks that kind of cross pollinate
Hmm.
from events and connections and things like that. And truth be told, we probably share a good amount of folks that we collaborate with or
Hmm.
support. And this is what I like the most about LinkedIn is the support factor.
Yeah,
I get to support a ton of folks uh, with their posts and their information they share. There's a lot of people just putting out information. Like today, I posted. What was it? Today was yesterday. Yesterday, I posted about. I, s- I was I was just kind of kidding, but I said, "Hey, I wanna start something new. I want to start a movement of fake leaders."
there you
Eric, that thing took off.
right?
Everybody's like, Enrique done lost his mind. He used to be he used to be a good leader. Now he wants to make fake
Fake
leaders.
leaders.
But it was just a way to grab folks in and be like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Um, and our show, all the shows that I do are about leadership.
Hmm.
I've been blessed this year. Been some people say that Enrique, I have no idea how you do it. You got 4 shows running a week.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it neither, but I do it.
You
I
do it
do it, yeah, because I think it's important. I believe leadership development is important. There's a lot of people that can't pay for the service, right? So
right.
this is a way I get to give out some actionable steps and actionable items that they can think of when they're going back and say, "Yeah, okay, I can't afford a coach, but I still need the knowledge," and this is the way I get to do it
No,
during the
man,
week.
you're playing into everything that's going to start happening in 2022 and what I'm going to start leading creators to do. Um, this is a big one, right? So, for those who don't know, on LinkedIn, you can have a personal page, almost like Facebook. You can have you can have your personal page where you go there and you share all of your stuff and everything that you do there. And you also have the option to create a company page. Now, people are thinking, why would I start a company page? Maybe I don't have a company, but you're doing live streams. Okay, here's the magic. Starting a company page, and it's just called a company page because that's what kind of LinkedIn is. But it's like any of the tools and features that they offer you. You gotta actually look at it and how you can actually integrate it in what you do. So, for example, Enrique, you've done 52 shows this year, right? Now, how hard would it be to bring all 52 shows together? Um, that's my question, right? To kind of pull them up without having to go back there and look at all the videos that you might have downloaded and everything that's on your local hard drive, and you'd have to scroll through and look through all of your timeline to make sure you have all. Unless you sit there and feature them at the top of your post, which again, that's one way to kind of do it if you haven't figured that out yet. But that's all that If you got other things you're going to feature, well, you're going to lose your videos. In creating a company page, here's what you can do. This is Michelle J. Raymond, who's an awesome. She wrote a book. Her and Lanier Johnson wrote a book about company pages and why they're important. You can use a company page to create and store and hub all of your live stream videos. So you can actually stream to your business page once you create it. It's the same deal that you would do with your profile. You get 150 followers on your business page, and then you can apply to get LinkedIn Live, and then you can stream all of your stuff there. So let's just say all your biz dev videos that you want to share about leadership in one place, and you wanted them to go just to that, you could actually create your business page around that, what that is, and then stream all your videos there. Apart from what you do with your personal stuff, all this stuff there. And then when you want to send people to go find resources on what it is, like say, I can't afford a coaching. Cool, go check out my company page. We've got a lot of videos there loaded of we've conversations that we had and things that I've created to walk you through leadership and business development. And you can go there and watch them and take them in at your convenience. Just follow the business page and you can go check it out. That's how you're going to maximize now what you've done as a creator. Now you're going to be able to have a YouTube style of way of cataloging all your shows in one place. And it'll be as simple as going and sharing the business page and the link to the business page and the link to the video and pulling it and sharing it, and people can go there and watch it. Just like I showed you how you can do it with the newsletter and how you can create it there that easily. That's what you're going to be able to do with all of your video catalogs. That's what every creator needs to start doing. Because we're all here, we all create content, we're all doing all these things, but our content still has value even after we've created it. So if there's a video pertaining to something you've already talked about, Enrique, and someone's coming to you and asking about it, how easy would it be for you to just share the link for them to go watch it? Say, here's a link to go check it out and tell me what you think, and let's connect afterwards. Boom. Done. Instantly.
That's so similar in the way of the hashtag. It kind of couples everything in.
Mm-hmm.
No, so I do have a company page. I've used that pretty well. But there's a section where now I could just curate my videos on leadership.
Yeah, so so you can, on a company page, you can create other pages there inside of your own company page. And once you go there and you create a page strictly for your videos there, and then you set up your streams and events, you can stream it straight to that page right there. And then when it's done, it's stored and cataloged there. You're not doing any extra work. You're just actually changing the location of where you're streaming. Now, LinkedIn hasn't done this yet, but I promise you this will be a feature they're going to allow. So here's the rub. People have, I can't stream to my personal page and I can't stream to my LinkedIn page at the same time. That's the catch. Give me a little time, folks. I'm actually trying to get a workaround for that. And once I do, all my creators that are in the group and actually show them that it can work, they will be the first ones to know, and they'll be the first ones to be able to discover that to do that. So follow along into the LinkedIn group if you're not there already part of there and you're a live streamer, and then you can go there and you can figure it out, man. It's gonna be again another great tool to have in your bag, man. So you're able again to maximize what you're already doing here on this platform, just like you would on if you were a YouTube creator or if you were streaming on Facebook. It's an easy way to make accessibility easier for us as creators. That's what I'm really shooting for, is to make it easier for us. Because if it's easier for us, then it's easier for our audience to send people off to go check it out. So that's a big one for me, a big push that I'm going to be kind of showing people coming forward in 2022. That's a big one on the calendar.
Yeah, we're excited for that. And folks, if you haven't ventured into live streaming or you want to, hey, you could ask, you can apply for it.
Hmm.
It was funny when I got this back. Wow, it's definitely a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a year and a half. And so I had just heard about it. I said, you know what? Let me just apply for this thing. I do a lot of still, just video posts. Maybe they'll like it. And sure enough, I applied, and 2 weeks later they were like, "Hey, you got LinkedIn Live." I was like, "Whoa, what for real?" And then somebody found out. It's like, "Yo, I've been applying for 6 months, man."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was, but I'm happy that I got it. And guess what? We're going live next Friday,
That's right.
and that's how Aloha Friday Live came to be. And I don't know if it was Aloha Friday Live when I started. I think
But
it
it,
was just a Friday Live show, but I figure, hey, I wear these Aloha shirts every Friday. Let me just get this. Let me just get this a little flavor. It's probably the only Hawaiian flavor. I think it's the only Hawaiian flavor live stream here on LinkedIn. And hey, I've been tagging Hawaii left and right, so hopefully they listening. And so for tonight, which is something that I was doing for a little while and then I stopped. But for tonight, and obviously, we could see how many people are on. Um, at the end of this show, we're gonna look at who was on there participating the most. And
yeah.
this is how I usually do it. If you are watching us and you are participating throughout this next 40 minutes or so, or however it is, however long we're gonna go, you're gonna get a pack of cookies from my favorite cookie company.
Oh.
My favorite cookie company. And I tell you what, you'll never regret these cookies.
Hey, I've never been one to turn away a really great cookie. That is, hey, there's something magic in having a cookie that you can enjoy like that. Like that's, we can tie cookies to memories. Go back there. So like you've grandma's cookies that you remember eating when they would come out of the oven and taste really, I mean, magical like anything else. Having a good cookie like that and tasting it can take you instantly back, just like a song or anything else. Cookies are awesome.
Well,
They're my
this will
favorite.
this will instantly take you to Hawaii. You ain't gonna know what hit you. It's like I tell you, it's the Honolulu Cookie Company.
Oh, okay.
Now, and it's coming straight from them. So you get a special item that's coming from Hawaii
Yowzas, man.
in a nice little tin. Yeah, that's it. You can keep. Hispanics love tins, right? We
Yeah, we
just
do.
like we,
We got
bro.
everything: pins,
We got
needles. We put.
pins, string. You're wondering what. Hey, sometimes you gotta be careful when you
Yeah,
if you go to a Hispanic house, pick pick up a tin of cookies. You might not get cookies,
cookies,
but
right?
but this cookie actually will be in it. So I'm gonna look at the comments. So if you're with us and you're participating, whoever participates the most is the one that gets the pack of cookies just in time for the holidays. And as we say in Hawaii, Mele Kalikimaka,
That's it.
and it's all love and aloha out there. So we're gonna share some of that aloha from the show.
That is
Uh, so
awesome. Love that.
Gabe, we're coming to the end of a year that has been an extension of a tumultuous year prior to that. It was on a part two.
Yes.
It doesn't it doesn't seem like uh, they're letting down, right?
No.
I just saw the news today. This new variant taking a hold again, but people have gone back to live events.
Yeah.
Like it never happened. And so we may see some of that resurgence again. whether we do or we don't, that's not here or there. It might happen. Uh, the that epidemic, that pandemic, that whatever it may be right now,
Hmm.
has facilitated this in a way we never could have imagined.
Yeah.
And so what have you seen? Now you've seen the bell, you've seen the newsletter things. What are some things that you're hearing LinkedIn is thinking of, or creators are thinking of to spice it up? Because I tell you, there's some shows that are out of this world
Yes.
on live.
Yes. And here's the thing. So we're the pandemic has taught us, right? If there's a lesson that we took out of that, is the fact that we're learning the real value in virtual presentation. Um, we now live and operate in a virtual world. Um, and you're starting to see why, because again, until there is a actual cure for something like what's been going on with the coronavirus, these variants that come out here, we're having to adjust to it. So I think that's the big difference between um, 2020 and where we stand going into 2022. Um, we're better acclimated to understand what it is. Whereas before, it was something we were caught off guard and having to learn how to deal with. So now we're learning how to deal with this in every form and capacity that we have to do every single day. So whether it is now corporations having to invest in having these hybrid situations that people will now work out of because, um, you know, we still don't have the all clear, whether what people want to believe or not. We still don't have it. We got this Omicron variant now that is by the day growing and growing and growing. And so they're going to have to make adjustments to vaccines and stuff like that. That takes time. Um, and still, even getting the population up to a rate of vaccination, that is another big stigma that's going to stand in the way. So we have to live and learn how to operate in these virtual worlds. So a lot of things that I've been seeing, um, because people are trying to get back to some sort of in-person way of either conducting business or conducting. So a lot of, like, say, trade shows, business shows, stuff like that, they're doing what they're called hybrid events now. So they're doing both virtual and in-house to kind of keep it limited to the amount of people that can actually attend some of these events. And for some people that, who might be like might be experts, and you might want them to come and be a part of the conversation, but because there might be over, let's just say, in England or somewhere else, so there's different flying restrictions, there's different things like that. Having a virtual event as well as part of an in-house event, you can still have those people kind of add their value to what you want to do and still be a part of the event. Plus, it also
Right.
helps in cost. There's not the cost of having to do room and board, having to be around without doing all these things here, that you can still have the individuals kind of participate and be a part of it. And that way, you still able to have a really great event. You still have people that are still going to walk away and learn stuff, and you're still going to be able to, um, again, conduct business in this way. And that's a big one for a lot of what's happening now, is seeing just not just in the realm of like doing events, but how we operate now in the corporate structure. People have to now are actually getting they're actually getting stipends to use to build a virtual office,
Mm.
because again, they might go to it again. It's the hybrid idea of, we might only need you once or twice a week or maybe the month to come in and be a part of the meetings. Other than that, everything is conducted virtually. So, um, you know, being able to have the power of video, being able to have a great way to present and conduct with your clients. I mean, you want to give the best presentation you possibly can, just as you would if you were going in person. You're going to look your
Right.
best. You're going to be on par with everything that you're talking points that you're going to share with somebody. It's the same sort of deal in doing a virtual meeting with somebody. So a lot of those things and a lot of these features that are being offered now through all of these software companies that we now use as web-based solutions to kind of go out there and use like what we're using here now with StreamYard. You can find it within Restream. You can find it within any of the other streaming tools that are out there. The point of it being is that you're able now to have all of these really great features to make your way of connecting um, with an audience, with your clientele, with whatever it is that you're trying to do in an easier way. So that's where I really find it um, valuable in what we're both doing here and what I've been teaching. For me, it's part of the education process. I'm teaching people how to get to that point of really being able to do that, right? So what I see in 2020 is you're going to see a lot of now. Um, you're going to see a lot of different uh, these companies start introducing newer features that are going to make the process easier for all of us as either creators in what we do in just content creation, or again in doing it in the capacity of what we do in the realm of the business world. So things like Zoom, you're starting to see all these different um, software companies adding things almost by the day
Hmm.
to kind of level up the way they do, because now it's a competition to see we're fighting for your hard-earned dollars. We want you to be part of our clientele. We want you to kind of champion what we are, and that's where we're kind of lucky, because I'm going to tell you, I mean, you'll hopefully, I mean, I don't know exactly what your experiences are, but for me, I've been blessed to see where a lot of these things, a lot of the tools like what we're using with StreamYard, of how they've kind of changed and evolved and elevated from where we first started using them to where they are
Oh
actually
yeah.
now. It's leaps and bounds, and the social media platforms that now are associated with this, they understand this, and they're kind of making it easier. So they're in a lot of times, like with here on LinkedIn, they're working in conjunction with a lot of these um, companies that offer these solutions for us and being able to communicate. So, man, it's a really great time to be a live stream creator, or just to actually get into doing this as a way um, to create. You don't have to do it like the way we're using it. You can use it to um, build and develop education. You can do it just to kind of, again, build up a way to uh, build up a brand, or if you're using it to kind of go out there and discover things in marketing, in lead generation, things that you want to gotta do uh, with your company and who you're employed for. If you're an entrepreneur yourself, um, it's a great way to reach out to people. Um, I mean, how many times have it gives you an avenue to go ahead and offer an invitation to somebody who might have not taken on that chance with you, because they know that you do a show or you do something right there, and they're like, it's kind of, they feel honored to say, yeah, I would love to come on here and talk with you. So whether it's reaching out to business leaders, um, whether it is the individual leaders that you want to get on here to kind of reach out to, whether it is just reaching out to people who you want to target and might interest you. It just gives you a way to just to put out there the ask. It's another way, man. And I think as we go forward into 2020, you're about to see another big explosion in how we can do this, because, like you said, when you mentioned at the very beginning of what we're talking about here, this pandemic now, this epidemic that we've now lasted almost going on 2 years, um, again, continues to, just like we're evolving, it's evolving. Um, so every time we think we have something in place to kind of stem it, kind of slow the process. All of a sudden something else happens, and guess what? Now we're fighting a whole another wave. So just like it has to evolve, we have to evolve as well, and as quickly, if not quicker. Um, so that's where all of the power in what we're doing here now. It's amazing. This is going to be great times. I see 2020 as a is 2020 2020 was a really shocking year. 2022 is going to be a thing where I think we're going to um, actually gain a lot of traction going forward. I think 2021 was just us getting back and getting our feet
Hmm.
under us. That was a hard coming off a very hard year prior. I think now we kind of got our bearings, and now we're actually going to say, you know what? Now we're going to go ahead and be preemptive and strike first and get things out there. 2022 is going to be a really awesome year for a lot of
Yeah,
folks.
talk about preemptive. I just got John Minyard. He goes in there. He says aloha. He is a Navy brother. He was with me in Hawaii, so he truly knows what aloha means. Don't be trying to get them cookies, John. I know you came in here for them cookies.
That's why he heard
Yeah,
cookie somewhere.
he
He's
heard
like, I'm
cookies.
talking
He was
so.
like, "Hey, hold up, I gotta say something." But he's a true a true brother that I love, man. Thanks, John, for stopping by,
Thank you, sir,
and
for your service, man.
yep. And so it's interesting how you label 21 as the time to level out, right? That's where we started saying, "Wait, but where is my footing? How am I standing?" John Minier is one. He has Fantel
Yeah,
services. They do leadership development. They started doing this hybrid type of training. Said a couple of things, multi-state, and
wow.
are hitting that kind of hybrid thing where some can go, the others can get via virtual, and it seems to be something that we can do and still make a business viable,
Yeah,
bring the product to the customer, in this case leadership development, um, and 22 should be the year where we start saying, okay, well, this is what's going to work. We're going to go with that. And if you're out there and you've never ventured on video, I'll tell you right now, video is the key that's going to, get you in touch with folks that normally won't find you. And if you can't do that, then get somebody that can. Get Hey, maybe you have an animated person in your company, someone that likes to be in the limelight, somebody that likes to talk and
right.
and, and make things enjoyable. Let them be the voice of the company. Don't be afraid. Don't and maybe you do have a media department that they can handle that. But one thing I've noticed that a lot of people just like to see the normal day-to-day Joe
Yeah,
talk and express themselves and all of that. So if you're a company out there, hey, give your folks a shot. You'd be amazed how far you can go if you let them on video. Now you don't want everybody on video.
I
I'll
want
tell you
everybody
that.
on video.
That's is this something that's gonna stay for a long time. So you want to make sure that you pick the right person, but hey, give your folks a shot. You never know how and
Well,
how far it'll take you.
well, this is a great thing because now you're talking again about what I was kind of mentioning with your business page. You can invite your employees to kind of join the business page as well, and they can go in there and post content. They can go in there and possibly be a spokesman, a brand
Mhm.
champion for what you're doing as a business, as a corporation. Um, and what better way to kind of sell what you guys do as a service, or what you offer, or how you serve somebody, than having your own employees be the voices of how what you guys actually do. I mean, I see that as a definite win-win. You can go in there, and again, just like anything else, you can put you can put administrate admins inside of your page. You can do ways that you will actually kind of control what people can post content wise. Um, but again, yeah, let your employees be kind of that calling card of what you are, um, as a business. That's, to me, that's like a another great way to kind of integrate, again, one of these tools that LinkedIn gives us. That people just look at it and go, "What is this? How do I use this?" You know, hey, everything has a purpose, and most of the times, especially like a platform or a corporation like LinkedIn, they're gonna want to show you how to actually use it to your advantage, because it only helps them. It's the same way of you're being the spokesman for what their product is and what they're going to do and what their services are. So being able to do that, you have the same abilities in what you do as a business. And I think that's just another great way, um, to speak to your point of how you can, um, bring in the people that work for you, that work, if you're the business owner, if you're the CEO, if you're whatever your title is within the company. Um, you know, that's, people are, and I've always said this, people are the biggest resources that we have. Use your resources. They're going
Yeah.
to be the strongest ones. I mean, eh, we do that all the time with our military. Um, who better than, the spokesman to what they offer and what we do? And that's a great way of approaching what you should do in with your business and with your employees. Let them be, part of it. I think they're more receptive to that when you allow them to be there. I mean, how often, if people are proud, they boast that I've served in the Navy, I was in the Army, I was a Marine, I served in the Air Force, because it's part of, again, them sharing what they've done to be a part of a bigger accomplishment. And I think that's what you can do as your business. Allow these people to be part of that, man. That they're You'll be surprised how many would love to be there and to celebrate that. That is a big
Well,
one.
and there's one thing to say about getting testimonials of customers, but guess what? They're paying for that service. So you
Yes,
better be giving it, right?
right.
Uh, but it's a whole different ball of wax when you get in the song of praises from your people, your own people, right? Those that are there working, grinding, and then they get to say, "Hey, this company did this and that, and they do this and they do that," and it's a whole different element when you start incorporating your folks. Uh, Obviously, you have to have that type of environment because if you don't, it might backfire. So just make sure that you are providing. And I've always said this, right? Customer service should always be first internal. It should You
Yeah,
should never be thinking, "Oh, let's do this outside," if you ain't doing it inside. Because guess what? Those people that you're trying to provide customer service outside are not getting in front of people inside because you
right.
ain't giving it to them. So, it's a give and take there, but hopefully you do have a compliment and an organization that does feel proud of being that part of that organization. They'll sell
Yeah.
they'll sell the company if you just let them, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to start thinking, how can I incorporate videos? How can I incorporate lives?
Hmm.
If you have a company page, like Gabe said, man, you should be running some live streams on that site, on that page. Start drawing
Hmm.
people towards it because that's really where you start, educating people.
Right.
Now, I do uh 2 podcasts, Monday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
I do this Friday live, and then I do a faith-based leadership type of on Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
So I'm on there, but I haven't done anything from my company page, which, oh, by the way, also was granted live. For those that don't hate me,
That.
don't hate on me. I got live on my I got live on my
Right.
personal and my company page. but I haven't taken advantage of that piece because I already do 4 shows, right? But I can, to Gabe's credit and his explanation about how to be able to run something off of your page, your company page. A live would be an easy thing for me to do, and just make sure that that particular live is streamed on that for that for that platform. I don't think I can run another live show, brother.
Well, well, here's a great thing though, but because the page has access to it, you can have an admin there.
Yeah.
If you have somebody, a partner, or like you said, a brand spokesman who, um, you know, is you have faith in that they're going to be able to communicate what you are as a business company or whatever. Hey, they can go there and stream there as well and have shows. I mean, you can still make a presence without you having to be present.
Right.
That makes sense. So you're able to still get that out there. You're still able to get the word that you want them to pass along there. And again, you're trusting in your employees. You're trusting in people um, to help what it is. I mean, again, it takes a village. It's not just us. I mean, even me getting to this point isn't just me. This is other people um, helping, cooperating, guiding, giving everything that they do to help me get to where I want to be. I'm not here without the help of other people, and that's where trusting in sort of what you've already built. So if you're trusting in the people that you already bring in and you in to rely on there, hey man, let them also again be a part of that. Um, and you never know what's gonna kind of come out of something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a lot of things that can develop out of that. So um, I think that's such a great way to kind of just bring in different people in here, let them also kind of experience what you've experienced. Um, because you never know what it might lead to. That person could be like the diamond in the rough, that
Mm-hmm.
gem
Oh
to get
yes.
what you need, right?
Yep.
That's a big one.
Yep. And you give somebody an opportunity. Just imagine somebody that was just doing their job, and you give them opportunity, and then they flourish, right? And it's one of those things. So Crystal says it's a team, and it really is.
It is.
And just because it's your page, your company page, doesn't mean that somebody else can't do that. Uh, and get somebody on there that's hungry and savvy, and tech, technology is one of their things, and if like I say, you just got to be careful who you put on there. But when you have chosen the right person and you put them on there, you're gonna be amazed. It's
Yeah.
gonna it's gonna do some stuff. You look Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon's is streaming products
All the
all the time, right?
time.
All
All
the
the time.
time. And so this is the way. This is the way. And I know I sound like a Mandalorian, but this is it. This is the way. And if you don't know how to capitalize on it, you'll miss out,
Yes.
and you'll miss the boat. And then it's one of those things that technology is leaps and bounds all the time. Before you know it, I don't think that it's too late to jump into it ever,
No, it's not. It's
but
not.
you would have missed some ground, right? You would have missed some ground. And
Right.
so I'm excited for 22 and what not only LinkedIn has in store, but the
I
streaming
mean, right.
capabilities. Look, StreamYard itself, it's caught up to 4K to match your technology. If you got, like I got a Canon, streaming 4K right now with my Elgato and all
Yeah.
kinds of
That's
other
the
stuff,
stuff.
right?
That's right.
And that's not a cat. It's a
I know it sounds like a cat, but that's
yeah,
it.
but it ain't.
It ain't.
But they are matching in the sense of how you stream,
Yeah.
at what level you stream, and obviously,
Hmm.
if you pay a little more, you can stream a little better. But that's just all business. But they have the capability,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to. And something that just kind of like a cat out of the bag, since we're talking about El Gato
Yeah.
here,
There you
right?
go.
My Aloha Friday live may go remote.
Ah, we
So there may be some real live show,
knows.
so stand by for that because that's kind of like in the works. But 22 is looking like Aloha Friday Live is going to be on station. And so, it's just little elements like that that can take your live to a whole different ball of wax, right?
Yes.
Um, I've enjoyed thoroughly being able to connect with people. Hey, I've done live shows with people in the UK. I've done live shows with people all over the state, back in Hawaii. It's just it's and that's another thing too. So not only on station, but also bringing some element of the actual Ohana from Hawaii into the show. So it's gonna morph into something totally different than this year. But that's how these things evolve. You
Yes.
start you start with this and you start with that. You know, I won't promise that there's gonna be some hula in the back. That's not probably gonna happen. But if I go to Hawaii, you better bet that I'm gonna be streaming
There you
live
go.
from Hawaii.
There you go.
So little things like that that'll help the shows become its own. And like I said, I believe that I am the only Aloha Flavor live stream
Look, I'm going to tell you.
on LinkedIn.
I'm going to tell you right now. I take in I take in live streams uh, probably 10, 20 times more than most. So yes, I can officially say you are the only one
Woohoo!
that does a the whole theme, all of it. You're the only one that's. But then that's the unique part about it too. That
Right.
you are that you bring in that element out here to everybody that's watching, everybody that might connect and come into these circles. If that is the vibe that they feel, of course they're gonna come and check you out. They're gonna be like, "Oh, there you go. That's it, Crystal. That's how you actually do that. Is presenting a uniqueness, no matter what you're creating. That is what when it comes down to what every person asks me about what I should do as a live streamer. I get this question all the time. If I had a dime for every time I got asked that question, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be rich man somewhere else. But I simply tell it the same way like I'm telling you now. You be uniquely you. That is what's going to be part of your selling package to people. Like even though you're not selling anything, you are selling something. You're selling yourself. You're selling what you do, what your message is, how you connect, how you are able to communicate your stories, your experiences out to other people. So you can go out there and just be you, and people will find it. You will find your audience as long as it's like anything else. If you don't give up and you continue to do it, you're going to find the people that will show up on your doorstep. And that is where you actually find the magic in being able to connect and make an impact in somebody else. That is why I say this is tool that you have in your hand is one of the most powerful ones. Um, because no matter what, and I'm always talking about this, and I always used to wrap up my shows with this, is talking about legacy. This is part of the legacy that you are going to leave behind. Um, Video will live on beyond our time here. It's already been proven. It's already a fact. People go back and watch Zig Ziglar videos and Wayne Dyer videos. They go back there and watch all of these people who are no longer on this planet still provide value and information and motivation every single day that kind of changes their lives. Now, what does that tell you about the power of video? You have the ability to do this as well. That is how you can make an impact long beyond your terms. You have to see it more than just this. This is, again, one of the greatest resources. This is becoming, this is going to be becoming our new way to catalog stories,
Yep.
just like we used to books. That's how we had to communicate over the years to tell the tales that people go back there and talk about. Um, some of the greatest writers and authors, the greatest book ever created. Every single story had to be told that way. This is just the evolution of what it is and how you can go out there and still continue to do this. So that's why I tell people this is the tool to use to get your voice out there. Um, and this is the magic. And yes, true authentic self will show exactly. Um, that's a great way to mention it. That's perfect. Um, so I don't I that's part of why my mission is to help individuals who want to get their stories, who don't know how to get started, to kind of get moving in that direction and educate them to where they're start feeling comfortable in doing this. Because if you again, I push the biggest thing I push for people, new creators, make sure you have a why. Have a really concrete why if you're doing it. So you know what you're supposed to get out of it. Expectations, if your expectations are going to be building a multi-million dollar media company out of it, okay, you got to start from the ground floor. This is how it's going to work. You got to do it this way. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to do in a lot of different things. It's not going to happen overnight. That's the thing that
Mhm.
kind of disappoints people, that kind of walks them away. Man, I did 6 episodes and I walked away. I wasn't getting no kind of traction. And I tell them,
Look,
You're already laughing, and it's already truth. It's the same. It's the same logic why people stop doing podcasts. It's the same thing
man,
what we're doing here. I'm not getting 1,000 downloads. I'm not getting all of these things that you figure. That's how it's supposed to happen. I've never seen a business that said, I just turn on my open light and I make $1 million in sales.
hmm,
No, it takes work, effort. It is a long game. It is an investment. And yes, that's the word I was about to use, Crystal. You have to be resilient in what you do. It is not going to be people are telling me now that I'm doing this and people are discovering me and like, oh my gosh, you're an overnight sensation. I've been doing this for 2.5 years. I'm not an overnight sensation. There's been a lot of work, effort, and things that I've had to go learn through exploration, discovery to get to this point of where I am now. Um, so there is truth in it, and people saying, it doesn't happen overnight. It is the constant way of you showing up all the time and being able to put it out there. So I tell you, if you have the inspiration to want to go do it, you want to kind of figure out the tools. I always tell them, I am always happy to help. I have me and my partner, Russ Johns, we're working together to do this to help other individuals get started on their live streaming journeys. We help you and we provide you resources to get out there and get your footing going, because what's going to be better than seeing a lot of individuals out there doing it, sharing your stories and asking, how did you get started? We helped you. We wanted to get you in there. That's the purpose of it all. Um,
yeah, I tell you, and Krista says it took 2.5 years to learn your why. Yeah, and you know, I was laughing about the six because it happens, right? And,
all the
it
time,
does
all the
all the
time.
time. It happens all the time. People want instant things, and let me tell you, I've done over 350 shows. It blows my mind on how many shows
Those
I've
you've
done.
done.
It's like what? So
Yeah.
three over 350 shows
Yeah.
between the two podcasts, developing the leader within, the leadership void,
Hmm.
um, the Friday, the Aloha Friday,
Yeah.
and the Sunday.
The show. Yeah.
350,
Yeah.
and I'm nowhere near what people expect after six. Nowhere near. So and the truth is that I do this because I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love doing it. I love talking about leadership from all kinds of angles. There's if you look at all my shows on my podcast, and actually Aloha Friday Live was an extension of developing the leader within the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I said, man, I only have 52 spots and they go like this. 2022 is fully booked.
Yeah.
it the podcast is already booked. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't have no space. So then I was like, and it happened to me last year, October. By October, 21 was completely booked. And I was like, oh man, there's so many people that I would love to talk about leadership with, except that now I don't got no space.
Like, I'm running out of room.
So
Yeah.
I like, well, sure, you got this live now. Why don't you use that as and that's how I doubled up on
Yeah.
the leadership angle
Yeah.
on throughout the year. So instead of 52, now I got over 100
100. Yeah.
every year just on leadership,
Yeah.
right? The good thing is that as technology would have it, everything gets recorded on YouTube, right? So everything
Hmm.
resides on developing the leader within a podcast YouTube channel.
Yep.
But now we was talking about, now you got a business page. You can use that too.
Yeah.
So that's another,
Another tool. It's just,
yeah, another one.
yeah.
And I don't know if I want to add it, but you know what?
Look at
You
Ricky's
know,
comment. I love
man,
that.
I'm like,
Ricky just posted a really good comment. Yes,
let's
this is
see what,
this is a perfect example.
let's
You can't, but that's what they looked at. And that's
but
amazing. But
but that's what's expected, right? That's what they expect. And look, you just have to know, my why is leadership.
yeah,
I don't want to see, and to my post about fake leaders,
fake
right?
leaders.
Eh,
Yep.
I don't want to see that no more. I don't even want to hear. And look, if a fake leader comes to me, say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You can let's talk about development.
Yeah.
If you, but if you want to stay fake, we're done with that.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done. People, you're asking why people are running from their jobs in troves. I'm talking about 4 million. I
Yes.
said, what? The
Yep.
the stat was, I was like, are you crazy? And I was telling my wife, I said, have you seen these stats on the people that have it said right here, 4.2 million workers quit their jobs in October. This was last
Yeah.
October. 4.4 million quit in September.
Yeah.
4.3 million in August. That's a lot of million, folks. I don't know if I had that in dollars, I'd be happy. But
Yeah.
these are people that are saying, forget this fake leaders, man. They come and they make my life, and they quitting leaders. They're not quitting jobs.
Yes.
They're quitting leaders. Unless
Hmm.
you had, like, I don't know, you was working at a pig farm or something, and
Right.
you're like, oh, this stinks. Well, it really does. And you want to walk out, that's a different thing. But these are people that were in a corporate setting at a job site, and they just like, you know what, I don't have to deal with this no more.
Yeah.
And if anything, that the pandemic did was put people in their right mind and said, hold up now. I don't deserve this. You talking to me sideways. I'm a no. It's either I quit or something gonna go crazy. So, and that's a lot of millions of people
Yeah.
month after month. This is compounding, right? We didn't get the November and December stats, but if it looked like it's at least in the 4 million ballpark. That's a
Right.
lot of folks, and so my thing is leadership. How to get you to become a real leader, not a fake leader. Everybody's got fake leaders all
Hmm.
around them. How do we get you to become a real leader? It's a tough job. It's a tough thing, but you can get there. And so, in and around leadership is why all these different things started coming up. We
Yeah.
figured out that you can't talk about or too much about leadership. You can't talk. There's a whole lot to talk about. And
Right.
so, and I've proven that 350 episodes straight up on leadership from every angle, including faith and leadership. And I have enough content for my life, for my lifetime, right? Just
Right.
just just with mine stuff alone. But then we bring in all these folks that have different angles and different things. So yeah, you can't go you can do video. That's just all I gotta say. You can do video. You
Yep.
can do it now. Hey, Gabe is gonna get you. Him and Russ. I love Russ, man. I'm a pirate. He doesn't know it yet, but I am. You know.
Hey, wink, wink. I think I got an inside track. I can get people in
so
there.
but in any case, Gabe, it's been at this hour's gone too fast. And actually, it's more than an hour.
An hour.
We started early. For all of you that have been with me for the last 2 hours and change,
Thank you.
God bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for supporting this doubleheader, the first one of its kind, the first one of the year, the last one of the year.
Here. There you
But thank you for being with me, Crystal, Ricky, John,
go. Yes.
that have been on there, and thank you so much for being with me this whole time. If you checked out and checked back in, I never noticed, and that's okay.
That's
But
okay.
we thank you, Gabe. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate what you're doing for the live stream community. Everything that you're doing is just feeding us even more. So thank you for the platform that you have and you share with us. Thank you for being with me on my last Aloha Friday live for 21.
That's it. We're sending it out with a bang, baby.
Close out, baby. Close out. Thank you, man. Any parting words before we go? And
just really quickly, I just want to pub to guys, if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, I'll go back and drop it in here. I do a daily LinkedIn live stream guide. You can subscribe to it. Again, it shows up on your doorstep. It's there for you. It's so simple to go back there and check out any of the shows that you want to go follow. And it just makes our lives as live stream creators a heck of a lot easier, putting everything together in one place. So please subscribe to that if you haven't. Also, go check out the hashtag LinkedIn live streams. Again, there are a lot of great shows, a lot of great creators, a lot of great content getting put there. Go follow the hashtag there. And of course, just reach out to me if you have any kind of interest in wanting to get into live stream, or if you just want a conversation. I just sometimes find interest in people altogether and hearing their journey. So it's not even sometimes about getting them to get on live video. Sometimes it's just learning about just having a quick conversation and building a relationship. Some of these things they're actually, I always call them seeds that I'm planting, because you never know where down the line that seed's going to sprout something really, really great. It's going to bear great fruit for you somewhere down the road. So I just take those in sometimes. It's just to have them there, because people are, again, like I've said, and I will continue to say it, our greatest resource that we can have here. And it's the best for me to get to nurture people, get them to grow and expand. And that's going to help us out. So yeah, reach out to me. And really quickly tonight, I'm also going live, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to have my good friend Travis Lackner on. We're going to be talking about what I teach everybody in educating, and we're going to be talking about promotion over production. So we're going to teach and educate you tonight. So come along, follow along. I would appreciate anybody watching here to show up there. You're welcome. It's a fun time, really fast hour. And we do have giveaways. So just much like Enrique, who's going to be offering somebody cookies today, we got a giveaway as well this evening. Tune in to find out, and we'll go from there. Thank you, bud.
Outstanding. Now, hey folks, this closes out Aloha Friday Live. Thank you, Gabe, once again. For all of you that celebrate Christmas, Mele Maka, aloha to everyone. Mahalo for thank you, and thank you for being with us. And we will see each other on the other side of 22 when we come back with Aloha Friday Live revamp 2.0, whatever you want to call it. We'll be here, and we'll see you then. But folks, it's been a great year. Thank you for supporting me and this venture. And aloha and mahalo nui loa. Take care, everybody.